Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're blasting off on a journey to explore some of the most bizarre, baffling, and downright weirdest things humanity has ever launched into the cosmos. We all know about satellites, rovers, and brave astronauts, but trust me, the cargo list gets a whole lot stranger. So buckle up, because we're about to count down some truly out-of-this-world shipments. Let's start with something you probably have in your pocket right now: Legos. That's right. In 2011, NASA's Juno spacecraft set off for Jupiter, and it wasn't traveling alone. On board were 3 very special Lego minifigures. These weren't just any plastic toys though. They were custom-made from space-grade aluminum and depicted the Roman god Jupiter, his wife Juno, and the father of science himself, Galileo Galilei. Jupiter holds a lightning bolt, Juno carries a magnifying glass to seek the truth, and Galileo is equipped with a telescope and a miniature model of the planet Jupiter. It was a brilliant way to spark kids' interest in space exploration. These tiny explorers are now in a permanent orbit around the giant gas planet, making them the most distant toys in history. From toys to tunes. We've sent a lot of music to space, but perhaps none is more iconic than the Golden Record. In 1977, the twin Voyager 1 and 2 spacecraft were launched on a grand tour of the solar system and beyond. Attached to each was a 12-inch gold-plated copper disc, an interstellar message in a bottle. This record is a time capsule of Earth, curated by a committee led by the legendary Carl Sagan. It contains 115 images, sounds of nature like wind, rain, and animal calls, greetings in 55 different languages, and 90 minutes of music. The musical selection is incredibly diverse, featuring everything from Bach and Beethoven to Chuck Berry's Johnny B. Good and traditional music from around the world. The idea was to give any intelligent life that might find it a snapshot of our planet's life and culture. Voyager 1 is now the most distant human-made object, over 15 billion miles away, carrying that golden mixtape into the vast emptiness of interstellar space. Speaking of sending a message, how about sending a classified ad? In 2005, the online classified site Craigslist launched one of their own ads into orbit. It was a pretty simple text ad, basically saying, "Hey, here's a list of our best features, now on a satellite." It was more of a publicity stunt than a serious attempt to reach extraterrestrial customers, but it officially makes Craigslist the first company to advertise in space. Who knows, maybe some distant civilization is wondering what personals and for sale mean. Now, let's get a little more personal. In 1992, a Space Shuttle Endeavour mission carried a small sealed container into orbit. Inside was the cremated ash of none other than Star Trek creator Gene Roddenberry. It was his lifelong dream to go to space, and his family made it happen posthumously. It was a fitting tribute to the man whose vision of a hopeful, exploratory future inspired generations of scientists and dreamers. But his journey didn't end there. In 1997, a larger portion of his ashes, along with those of 23 other space pioneers and enthusiasts, was launched on the first ever space burial mission aboard a Pegasus rocket. Since then, the company Celestis has made it possible for anyone to have their final resting place among the stars. It's a poignant reminder of our deep, personal connection to the cosmos. And if you think that's strange, get ready for this one, pizza. In 2001, the Russian Space Agency was paid a reported $1 million by Pizza Hut to deliver a 6-inch salami pizza to the International Space Station. This wasn't just a marketing gimmick, it was a genuine logistical challenge. The pizza had to be specially formulated to withstand the rigors of space travel and be enjoyable in zero gravity. For instance, they used salami instead of pepperoni because pepperoni didn't hold up well during the 60-day preservation tests. Russian cosmonaut Yuri Usachov got to be the first person in history to enjoy a freshly delivered pizza in orbit. He gave it a thumbs up, proving that even hundreds of miles above Earth, the craving for pizza is universal. Let's move from food to art. In 1969, just a few months after the historic Apollo 11 moon landing, the Apollo 12 mission also went to the moon. Secretly smuggled aboard the lunar module was a tiny ceramic tile, no bigger than your thumbnail. This was the Moon Museum, a miniature art gallery containing works from 6 prominent artists of the era, including Andy Warhol. The art itself is a series of microscopic lines and drawings etched onto the chip. One of them, allegedly by Warhol, is a stylized drawing of a rocket ship. Among other things, the engineers who arranged it attached the tile to a leg of the Intrepid lunar lander. So, assuming it wasn't knocked off, there is a tiny clandestine art museum sitting on the surface of the moon right now. Now for something that's both a bit silly and scientifically significant: sea urchin sperm. Yes, you heard me correctly. In 1997, scientists on the Space Shuttle Columbia conducted an experiment to see how fertilization works in a zero-gravity environment. Why sea urchins? Their fertilization process is very similar to humans, but it happens externally, making it easy to observe. They mixed the sperm and eggs in space and were relieved to find that they successfully combined to form healthy embryos. This was a crucial first step in understanding whether humans could one day reproduce naturally in space, a vital question for any long-term colonization plans. So, thank you, brave sea urchin Gameetses for your service to science. Here's another one that sounds like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie. In 2013, a Japanese company sent a talking robot companion to the International Space Station. Named Karobo, this little humanoid robot was designed to combat loneliness and assist astronauts. It could recognize faces, process natural language, and hold conversations. It even set to Guinness World Records, first companion robot in space and highest altitude for a robot to have a conversation. Footage of astronaut Koichi Wakata chatting with Karobo is both heartwarming and a little surreal. It was a major step forward in human-robot interaction in isolated environments. Let's bring it back down to Earth for a moment, or rather, from Earth. We've sent a lot of our own stuff up there, but what about a piece of our planet's history? Sir Isaac Newton, the man who literally wrote the book on gravity, had a famous apple tree at his home in 2010. A small piece of that very tree, a 4-inch wooden fragment, was taken to the International Space Station by astronaut Piers Sellers. It was a beautiful symbolic gesture. A piece of the tree that inspired the theory of gravity was taken to a place where its effects are seemingly absent. It spent several months in orbit before being returned to the Royal Society in London, where it's now a treasured artifact. And finally, let's talk about the ultimate fan tribute. We mentioned Gene Roddenberry, but another sci-fi icon has also made it to space. Luke Skywalker's lightsaber. The actual prop used by Mark Hamill in Return of the Jedi was flown aboard the Space Shuttle Discovery in 2007 to celebrate the 30th anniversary of the Star Wars franchise. Astronaut Jim Riley, a massive fan, even took it out for a spacewalk inside the station. It orbited the Earth for 2 weeks before coming home. Imagine that the prop from a movie about space travel actually traveled in space. It's the kind of meta-narrative that just makes you smile. From toys and art to pizza and lightsabers, our journey to the stars has been filled with more than just science and steel. It's been filled with our culture, our humor, our memories, and our dreams. These strange items tell a story about who we are. They show our desire to share our culture, our need for connection, our sense of humor, and our undying curiosity. What other weird and wonderful things will we send into the final frontier? Only time will tell. What's the strangest thing you've heard of being sent to space? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this cosmic journey, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more adventures into the amazing and the unexplained. See you next time.